Hi, everybody. Nancy Atkins here at Atkins Family Law. So one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how can I get my case settled, or how can I get my case resolved? Because, it's common sense that if you can settle it, it's going to cost you less, right, to pay your lawyer. And I'd love to get your money, but that's not my biggest interest. My biggest interest is making sure that you're okay and that you can get through this. So one of the options that I'm always offering to my clients right up until the trial is you can settle. So some of the things that I want you to think about if you want to try to settle your Florida divorce case is to figure out what's important for you. There's basic issues that come up. Is it going to be the property that's the most important to me? Or would I prefer to focus my efforts on, the children and the time sharing and the child support or something like that, right? The other thing might be that you have to consider alimony. So maybe alimony is going to be your battle, and maybe alimony is your weakest argument. So that's going to be one of those things that you have to let go of and go, you know what? It's a short-term marriage, and I'm probably not going to get the alimony, so maybe I'm going to let that go. And that's one of the ways that you can, get closer to settling your case is making sure that you prioritize what's important to you and then have some willingness to let some other things go. And that will help move you closer to the other side in terms of getting the case settled. And then that way you can, close the door and put it behind you and move on to the next thing. Another thing that will allow you to settle is to pick your battles, which is similar to what I was just saying. And that is, you don't want to be that person that's fighting about everything. I was talking with somebody last week and they wanted to fight about everything. And I know there's that expression about, the devil's in the details and the lawyers. And there's this really, really great song by Henley. Anyway, listen, I'm going to show my age on that one. But Don Henley talks about, lawyers, and clean up all the details, right? So yeah, we do that. But we also make a ton of money when we're figuring out the details, right? So if you want to save a few dollars in your litigation budget, then I'm encouraging you to try to settle the case. And that means don't get bogged down in the details. This is not a time for you to be petty. And petty, that's an example of, 10 years ago, we agreed to this. And so now I have to go back to what we agreed to 10 years ago and change everything. You know what? If you've been sitting around for 10 years not doing something about it, then you probably need to let that go. And that's pettiness. Pettiness is, well, they didn't pay the water bill for $45. You know what? You're not going to pay me $400 an hour to argue about a $45 water bill. Or maybe you will. Listen, again, at the end of the day, I'm happy to take your money. But there's got to be some common sense and there's got to be some logic to what you're going to fight about and what you're not going to fight about. So again, things to think about for you to settle your case is picking your priorities, not being petty, picking your battles, and then having some willingness to let some things go. There's that song from Frozen, right? Let it go, let it go. I think I've talked about this before and I'll talk about it again till I'm blue in the face. Because letting it go is really where the rubber meets the road, right? Because if you can let some things go, you're going to move right through this and your life is just going to be a lot easier and you can put this behind you if you can let it go and have some acceptance about what is going on and what's important for you and what's not important for you. So if you have any questions about how to get your case settled and move it through the litigation process, as painlessly as possible and doing it where we're not spending a ton of money. I promise you, I don't want to spend your money. So we're going to have a conversation about that each time along the way. And if you want to talk about how to settle your case, give me a call and let's have that conversation.